my name is Steve Kessel. I'm with Brown & Caldwell. We are the LSRP and lead engineer for the remediation and ecological restoration at the former Nuadeck site. I'd like to welcome Mayor McCormick and Tony Finley with the DEP to the site. It was 4 years ago today where we had our original groundbreaking for the ecological restoration. We're here today to acknowledge that we're starting the actual public access. The wetlands restoration has been largely complete, and we're going to start today with our construction of boardwalk and other public access features. And we've made a lot of progress over the last 4 years, and I'm going to hand it off to Mayor John McCormick.
Thank you very much, and don't mind me reading, but there's a lot of facts here. I want to make sure I get everything straight. This is the single largest environmental restoration project ever undertaken along the Raritan River in Woodbridge. And my guess is this is something that's going to take a long time for people to get used to and people to know where it is. I liken it to Pin Oak Forest, which is now the Ernieoros Wildlife Preserve off Omar Avenue in Avenel. Beautiful 97-acre parcel that's protected by former Mayor Frank Pelson with county open space funds. Not many people in Woodbridge know it's there. It's gorgeous, lakes, birds, animals, gazebos, trails, everything you can possibly imagine. This is what this is going to be for Woodbridge, an unknown treasure that we're hoping by publicity we can get a lot of people into. This is 100 acres that will be the Woodbridge Waterfront Park. It's part of the former Nuadeck property, which was closed in 1984 and went unused for over 25 years. The site was acquired by Epic Polymers in 1991. Since the 90s, the site has been undergoing remedial investigation and cleanup. In 2009, DEP designated the site as a brownfields development area, and I'll ask my friend Tony Finley from DEP here to talk about that. Once the BDA was in place, the Woodbridge Redevelopment Agency, headed by Carolyn Ehrlich to my far right, coordinated efforts to designate the Caseby redevelopment area and to jumpstart the project to get everyone together to work out a plan to restore the site to productive use. The Caseby redevelopment area is part of the new development along the industrial highway that got underway several years ago, including CPV, the Woodbridge Energy Center, which is right back that way and within a couple months of opening, FedEx Ground Transportation Terminal and Warehouse, Wakefern Food Corporation, Graydell, and so many other developments that have happened here since the late 1990s. Today we are announcing the long-awaited next step in the ecological restoration of the wetland site remediation, the start of actual construction of the walkways and observation platform that will be the heart of the Woodbridge Waterfront Park. To date, the ecological mitigation and restoration project has completed some significant milestones. Creation of approximately 10 acres of freshwater wetlands, enhancement of over 30 acres of freshwater wetlands, enhancement of approximately 12 acres of tidal wetlands, and the USA Environment Project specialists have planted over 500,000 herbaceous plantings and over 12,000 trees and shrubs. I don't know what herbaceous means, but it sounds good. I'd rather have herbaceous plantings than non-herbaceous plantings. Ecological restoration currently under construction includes the creation of a lined pond feature with over 6 acres of open water and enhancement of approximately 30 more acres of upland area. When completed next year, the Woodbridge Waterfront Park will include approximately 30 acres of nature area with restored wetlands uplands, over 7,000 feet of walking trails circling the restored wetlands, 800 feet of boardwalk overlooking natural wetland areas, a viewing platform overlooking the Raritan River, bird blinds for observing wildlife, interpretive educational signs, gathering spaces with seating, and bus parking for school outings and trips. For the past several years, we have been involved in the Wetlands Restoration Project, planting more than 2 million native plants, which has already begun to transfer the waterfront site into a diverse, functioning ecosystem of tidal wetlands, freshwater wetlands, and enhanced upland areas. The wetlands restoration in the Woodbridge Waterfront Park stand as an incredible achievement, something that was not envisioned just several years ago. It's often said that you can't marry environmental restoration and protection with economic and industrial concerns. But what we are realizing on the Raritan River waterfront is just that, a marriage that considers the environment and the economic needs of the region. And that's very important because there's people that would love to see the entire 100,000 acres here protected as wetlands. There's people that would like to see this whole area be warehouses. So it's very important that the business concerns get married with the environmental concerns, and actually the business concerns are helping pay for the environmental restoration. So this is a perfect match made in heaven. I want to recognize he's not here, but Bob Spiegel from the Edison Wetlands Association has been a good partner. He's like an environmental conscience for us. He's always talking to us about what we should be doing, but he recognizes, as we do, that you need the economic development to drive and provide the resources for doing the ecological restoration. The overall redevelopment project holds incredible potential for economic development. We are very close to announcing the startup of operations at the CPV Woodbridge Energy Center, probably in a couple of months, and there's steam coming out now, which looks great. Never thought I'd love to see steam. A state-of-the-art natural gas-fired electric generation power plant and energy complex on 50-plus acres of the industrial section of the Caseby redevelopment site. The construction of the CPV Center represents a nearly $1 billion investment in Woodbridge Township, along with hundreds of temporary construction jobs and ultimately dozens of permanent jobs. The Woodbridge Waterfront Park and CPV Woodbridge Energy Center represent the best development and ecological restoration ever achieved anywhere in New Jersey. So all the people up here, all the people out there, I want to thank everyone who has had a part in this. I'd now like to introduce a gentleman who really was so instrumental in making this happen. When the DEP announced the Brownfields Development Project, it was a way to get specific attention from somebody specific at DEP who would handle everything here. All of these projects go through Tony Finley, and that's just an amazing resource to have. It's a one guy, one call, things get done. He's been out here probably several times a month for the past 4 years. I'm sure he's as excited and proud to see this come to fruition as we all are. So I'd like to ask Tony Finley to say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, I'm Tony Finley. I'm from the Department of Environmental Protection. I'm the one who's assigned to this project from the department. This has been a real wonderful project for us since we designated Woodbridge, the Brownfield Development Area. This has been a real winner for us. We're partnered not only with the township, the municipality, but we also partner with the redeveloper, the owner of the site, the developers to help this site to get remediated. The biggest job is really getting that power plant up and running, getting all the remediation done. But we also have a lot of work here. We also accomplish a lot of work here also with the restoration of the wetlands. Wetlands was contaminated, so we had to remediate that, clean it up, and then we had to restore it, and that's what this is all about. So this is a real wonderful project for us. Again, working with Edison Wetlands was great. We meet regularly. We're out here often, so I can definitely assure the public as well as the municipality that this project is suitable for redevelopment. The contamination in the wetlands has been restored, and once this project is ready to go and up and running, this project would be safe and suitable for everybody in the township to enjoy it. Thank you. Carolyn?
Thank you, Tony. You saw us looking up. The Osprey just drove by, or flew by. I didn't drive by. You know what I mean. He flew by, and it really is cool. There's an osprey nest on the buoys over there in the river, and the osprey travels around here quite a bit. He's a little late for this press conference, but we'll have a talk with him. I'd now like to introduce Kevin Condon from AECom, who functions as the owner's rep here in this project, and ask him to say a few words about your role.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As he mentioned, my name's Kevin Condon. I'm with AECom. I've been kind of the broad oversight for the project, boots on the ground for the past 4 years. And mainly I'd just like to give credit to the many engineers, scientists, and construction professionals that have brought us to where we are today, as well as the cooperation and help of the town and Tony Finley especially in expediting permit matters and really helping the project progress and move forward in a way that you can keep the construction team really moving. I'm all done. Yep.
Oh, okay. All right, so what I want to show you here is the overall aerial of the site, and I hope you can zero in on it, but if you can't, we'll get B-roll later on. Way back here is the power plant, and this all is what's going to be all through here. If you see, I don't know if Emil you can show, but there's blue paint on the ground. This is going to be the boardwalk trail. It's going to go up there into a hexagon. This is actually what the platform, the observation platform, is going to look like. It's going to be right there. You can see the string and the tape and the poles around. That's going to be the observation deck, and then the boardwalk is going to continue straight down that trail, and it's going to continue all across here out into other property. I want to recognize Nicole Vishelia Rogers, who here is representing Peter Vishelia, company name? Federal Business Centers. Federal Business Centers. So they've agreed to allow the boardwalk to actually go on their property. We hope it goes all the way that way and all the way that way, but we're going to get at least the middle part of it done with the observation deck. It's going to be absolutely tremendous. And you can see what's happening here. All these lake areas. There's going to be boating. There's going to be kayaking, fishing, whatever. All these kind of things can happen here in Woodbridge. For years, forever, Woodbridge residents never had access to the Raritan River. Now they do. I'm taking all your lines? Oh. All right, let me let Carol talk before I take all her lines. Go ahead. This is Carolyn Ehrlich, the Chief of Staff and Head of the Woodbridge Redevelopment Agency, and she's been on this site probably as much as a lot of people here, weekly, if not monthly, if not weekly meetings for the past 4 years. Go ahead, Carol.
This is nice, Carol.
Thank you. First of all, this has been like the most amazing project to work on. It's good, I think. It's really been a privilege to watch what's been done down here. First of all, it started with cleaning up the contamination. That took so much manpower, so much time, innovative techniques to be used. We were never even given the total number of the cost of this cleanup because the amount of millions that it was kind of mind-boggling. And for the company to take on that responsibility is just huge. Then once they finished that, they started on the wetlands restoration, which also included a cleanup. And I've come down, I don't know if you've been following all these press conferences, but about a year ago we were out here planting flowers. And now as you look out, all the plants are full. They're like up to about here. So it is really great. And as the mayor said, to be able to look out at the river, in 20 years people are going to say, really? At the turn of the century? Woodbridge people couldn't go down to the Raritan River? That's crazy, because hopefully it'll become such a regular thing. Hopefully this boardwalk, which will extend from here through the federal business centers to, onto their property, it'll be a really great walk through nature along the river. It'll be wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And I don't want to stop talking until I just mention something about the BDA, the Brownfields Development Area. That is a process that has enabled this to happen, because what it does is it brings together the town, the DEP, and all of the stakeholders. And we met for meetings, and who were the stakeholders but the neighbors? And so that's how we got federal business centers on board to be building the boardwalk. Bayshore, which is right on the other side, when we needed soil to fill it in, the soil came right from there. And all of the neighbors have been working together because, quite frankly, they are good neighbors and they shared some of the contamination. And, they all worked together to get it cleaned up. So it's been an amazing process. Whenever they needed a permit, they just needed to call Tony, and he facilitated it getting through what sometimes could be a very onerous process. So this is as beautiful as this is to look at, to see the river. The whole process to get to this point has been beautiful. And I thank USA and Brown Caldwell and everybody that was involved with this. Thank you. Oh, God, I almost forgot the most important person to us. Matt, come on up here. Matt and Nicole, come on up. So, Matt Morrow, come here. He's with Excel Environmental, and he is the township's engineer on this site. So he's kind of the guy that watched over everybody, the DEP and the developers, and coordinated it all and made it happen for us. And Nicole is here as a representative of all the stakeholders on the BDA. And I can't begin to tell you how Peter Vishelia and Nicole Vishelia have been the most phenomenal of partners in this process. So, thank you.
Want to say anything, Matt?
No, just that for the BDAs that we do coordinate for, Woodbridge has been probably the best one in terms of cooperation with all the parties. They really expedite redevelopment, and bring everybody they need to the table in a timely fashion. So it's been a real pleasure to serve as coordinator for the township and help everybody move things forward.
Let me add, if I could add to that. The Woodbridge BDA has also been one of the most successful one on the state level too that we have designated. And I think the reason for that is because we have all this coordination. I think the mayor is real great. I think he makes sure everything, runs smoothly. Carolyn's on top of everything. We meet regularly and we hammer out all the issues. We get our schedule together. We modify it if we have to. We meet our milestones. If we need to modify that, we meet it. Whatever changes have to be taken or required, we kind of work with the schedule. We have enough built in so that we could do these things. And I think that's one of the reasons why this BDA has been very, very successful. And not only on this site, but the other sites within the BDA in the township too. We've been very, very happy with it. So on the state level, it's really a big win for us. It makes our program looks well. I mean, the resources, we put a lot of resources, and we really could account for all the resources we put into this project, or the BDA here in Woodbridge. So that has been real wonderful from our end. Our management back at the state level and DEP, they're very excited about the news, the progress we're making. And the thing that they look for as management, they always want to look, what is the outcomes? What is happening here? You clean up the site, you redevelop it, how many jobs it's going to bring to Woodbridge, what's the ratables, what it's going to do, what it's doing, is it being able to meet the DEP's mission of cleaning up a site and remediating and getting back to productive reuse. So, from the department, from the DEP side, we're very, very, very happy about this site. It's a site that's been hanging around for a long time. It's been a thorn in DEP's side, not getting it cleaned up. We had a couple of start and stops, but once it got going, everything just went smoothly. So we're really, really happy about that from the DEP end. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Tony. Nicole, would you like to say anything?
We just would like to thank Mayor McCormick and Carolyn for such wonderful words. We're very excited about this project. It's been wonderful working with everyone and the Township of Woodbridge and all our neighbors, and we're just excited to see this project come to fruition. Thank you.
Thanks, Nicole. I just want to wrap up by saying how it really is exciting. Everybody said that so far, but 20 years from now, we'll see warehouses, we'll see power plants, we'll see office buildings, all the things that, we need in the town to bring in jobs and bring in tax ratables and make everything better for the residents. But when we can come back here and see what this is going to turn into, a whole complete ecological preserve, wetlands protection, all that's going to be just great to know that everybody here had a part in that. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful resource for the Township of Woodbridge and our residents. So thank you for watching. Maybe Emily get a close-up of some of these maps and a little B-roll, but we can't wait for this to be built. We'll be back here in a year or two and having the ribbon cutting. Today's the groundbreaking. We can't wait for the ribbon cutting. Thank you all.